Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic, hoping well, and today we've got a bit of surprising, but not that surprising to me, breaking news, and that is apparently we have Captain America himself, Chris Evans, Mr. Socialist himself, is actually apparently considering coming back to the MCU in some form or fashion, at least according to this breaking news from Deadline. But before diving in further into this story and just how true or how solid it might actually be or not be, please be sure to smash the like button, smash the rumble button if you're watching over there. I also upload these videos now over on Minds, and that is basically going to be the primary way in which I communicate with you peeps and share information. So if you like the sharing of information that I normally do on places like Twitter or what I used to do on Parler, please consider joining me over on Minds. It is a really cool platform. It is growing every single day. I've got over 467 followers over there now, and it has been a lot of fun so far. You actually can get free cryptocurrency just by interacting with people on the platform, which I find to be pretty cool. Also, it is alt tech, it is decentralized, and they have their servers backed up so that if their service is ever taken out, they can easily move to another platform, and they have a very passionate base of people who support them and like the stuff that they do over there, and I think that therefore it is a good long-term solution, especially since Gab is still not really working all that well, and it's one of these things where it's getting very, very frustrating and infuriating because I keep trying to refresh things and follow things, and it's just not working very well over there. I know they've got a huge influx of people going to that site now, but they really need to start to get that stuff up and running or have a simpler version of the site available or something. Until then, I will be exclusive on Minds because it is a great platform, and it is pro-free speech. It has a very straightforward process as how they handle any post that gets challenged, any post that gets reported, and essentially allowing the community to make a decision on whether or not something should be taken off or not. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the news now that my promo for Minds is out of the way. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do honestly really like that platform. So as this article says from Justin Kroll over at Deadline, it says Captain America eyes return to the MCU as Chris Evans nears a deal to reprise the role in a future Marvel project. This apparently is an exclusive to Deadline. In a move that is sure to rock the Marvel Cinematic Universe, sources tell Deadline that Chris Evans is cleaning the dust off his Captain America attire as he expected to reprise the role in the MCU in some form. Still vague if the deal is completely closed, but insiders say it's headed in that direction for Evans to return as Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, and at least one Marvel property with the door open for a second film. Sources add it's unlikely to be a new Captain America installment and more likely to be what Robert Downey Jr. did after Iron Man 3, appearing in films like Captain America Civil War and Spider-Man Homecoming. Marvel had no comment. And so based on that, we do not have confirmation, at least not as of when this video was made and as of when this article was posted, about whether or not this is going to happen or actually is happening or not. But I honestly cannot say I am all that surprised. Even though Chris Evans kind of went on the record to say he wanted to do less comic booky type films, he wanted to do more independent films, and to be honest, he actually really wanted to pursue his a second career really as a director and as a producer. It seems that the money being offered here by Marvel is probably a little bit too nice for him to want to turn down. This is the kind of mindset that led me to believe, honestly, that I'm not surprised. I said even back when Endgame first came out that they obviously tried to paint it as if Captain America was gone. He was done. Chris Evans was done. He wasn't coming back. But I was very clear to say I honestly do not believe that he is officially done, because especially when it comes to Chris Evans, he's a relatively young guy, and so therefore there are still plenty of years and plenty of films left in this franchise, unless of course COVID and the lack of interest in the franchise in comparison to what it was just a few years ago, which I honestly think has lowered tremendously, has anything to say about that. But Chris Evans, I still think it is not surprising that he would be wanting to come back into this universe, into this world, because he probably needs even more upon the millions of dollars that he already has in his accounts. It's the same reason why also I honestly do not believe that Robert Downey Jr. is done with the MCU either. Now, Robert Downey Jr. has been around for a very long time. He has changed his personality throughout various different roles and various different times in his career, so it might be enough for him to say, nope, I'm set, I'm retired, I'm done. So I would say that out of the two, he is less likely to come back. I still think there's that opportunity there, though, because of the very fact that you have to take into account the issues that come up when a movie star is trying to do other projects and those projects don't pan out nearly as well as when you were in these giant big budget comic book movies. The key example of that is the fact that he was in a film entitled Dolittle, of which many people probably have never even heard of, and was a massive box office bomb in the process too. Who knows if that's what he cares about, if that's what's going to be important to him or not. Obviously there is the Sherlock's Home, was it the third of the Sherlock's Home movies that's always already in production or in pre-production, so maybe that, I assume that will be the end of that franchise. So the question is going to be, where does he go from here? Does he just retire? Does he just do random projects that, passion projects that he wants to do? I mean, he's Robert Downey Jr. He's got tons of money. I'm assuming then that he has every right and every capability of being able to do so. But something tells me that Disney, especially, having all the money and all the power that they have, even though they're losing a lot in the midst of this pandemic, I think are probably going to try and get him back. To me, this is also an indication that things aren't looking very well for Disney right now, and also for the future of their franchise. You remember how before the pandemic started, they were all about trying to push for these new characters, trying to push for more diversity, more political points. Captain Marvel was supposed to be the new lead, was supposed to be the new center of the MCU going forward. And then they realize, oh, not a lot of people really like Brie Larson. She's really not all that popular. Oh, she said a lot of things that have really kind of turned off a lot of fans. Oh, her film made over $1 billion, but if we look at to see what people thought about the movie and the likelihood of them returning for a second one, especially in the midst of the pandemic where theaters across the entire United States and world have been destroyed, ooh, we need to probably get some star power back, because Brie Larson is not really the star power that you're going to be able to use. Captain Marvel is not really the star power. The fact that in collectibles alone, remember I did a lot of coverage of this when it was first going on, but you can still to this day find steelbooks for Captain Marvel. Steelbooks are typically in limited supply and are typically things that you collect, and there are still Captain Marvel steelbooks out there, a plethora of them. All the while, you have Lord of the Rings, which just got released on its own steelbook, which, by the way, sold out within the day in which it was released. I couldn't even find it after the day it was released because it was just that popular. Captain Marvel, not nearly as much. But you do have a lot of popularity still with characters like Iron Man, with characters like Captain America. Even though one could argue that the first Iron Man film was the best of the three and none of the other films really lived up to it, I guarantee you that in Iron Man 4, if you had Robert Downey Jr. and you had an interesting enough looking plot and good trailer, could probably bring in a hell of a lot more money than a Captain Marvel 2 could bring in, because you have those differences in star power and also those differences in character and the interest in said characters. So I think that Disney is looking to see, oh, wait a minute, we really can't at this point afford to put our trust and to put money behind people like Brie Larson and characters like Captain Marvel, who have not proven themselves yet to this point to be the most popular or the most profitable. So let's go ahead and bring people back, the first of which being Chris Evans, and I guarantee you they will also bring back, or at least try to bring back, Robert Downey Jr. in the future as well. Now, this could very well be just in a very small way. It could be that they want him to appear in one of their Disney Plus shows to try and drive traffic to the Disney Plus platform. The same thing could be said of Robert Downey Jr. as well. They could try and have him in there and have him drive those things, drive traffic to their website as well. This is something that could absolutely happen. But the fact that they're still even talking about it, the fact that these actors that were supposed to have been done, who were given this beautiful send-off in the eyes of many fans in the Endgame film, and obviously I had issues with a lot of that film and had issues with their character arcs, most especially Chris Evans, because the whole storyline with his time travel nonsense, which didn't make any damn sense, it didn't work within the story they told, people still liked it for the most part. People still generally liked the arcs at the very least of the characters. So to basically say, yep, guess what, he's not actually done, is, in my opinion, them saying, oh, we can't rely on these not so well-known characters like we thought we could, and oh, wait a minute, turns out we need to go back to a white man in order to lead this universe back into its glory days. However, I honestly think that the glory days of the MCU are far behind them, as are, I think, the glory days of the billion-dollar box office. I think that's essentially done. I think you could have some potential to get there. When you look at the international marketplace, I mean, that might be what they try and do, is say, let's make $800 million overseas and then only have to worry about making maybe $200 million here in the States, and then that way we can cross the billion-dollar mark. The issue, of course, being they don't get nearly as much return on their investment from box office receipts overseas as compared to the ones in the United States. There's obviously this talk about, okay, how much money can be made on PVOD if you release things directly onto your own services like Disney Plus or HBO Max and charge a little bit extra. Didn't work out very well for Mulan on Disney Plus, but then again, Mulan was not a film that anyone really wanted to go see. Now, if they were to release a Black Widow on Disney Plus and charge $30, maybe that film would do a little bit better, but it still remains very much hard to see and hard to prove of whether or not that would be the case or not. We'll go ahead and just read the one more paragraph in here. It says, how he may return is still unclear and being worked out, but the options are unlimited. Over the years, even after a character's film franchises have come to an end, Marvel have found a way to insert them in the MCU, in other properties, and with the addition of new Disney Plus limited series, even adds more properties where they could make his return, if not in his own film. Whatever the path may be, fans are sure to be invigorated knowing that they would be seeing the return of a character that they assumed wouldn't be let back anytime soon. I think that might be true for some people. I know I myself actually really like the character of Captain America played by Chris Evans, but I think that Chris Evans has become such an asshat, especially in his real life personality, especially in his mindset towards people that don't align with him politically, that I think he's actually probably turned off a lot of people so that a lot less people would be interested and would be excited by him coming back, not because they don't want to see Captain America again, but because of the nonsense of his actors and because of him as an actor and him as a real-life person, and also not to mention the fact that they already said goodbye to his character, and so this would basically be, oh, you're just trying to use him as a cash grab opportunity, and I'm going to reject that. There's a lot of things, I think, that could lead to it not turning out the way that they would expect. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that he is going to be signing this deal? Again, this is an exclusive to Deadline. I'm going to go ahead and try and refresh it. There don't seem to be any updates to this story. It was broken at 9:05 this morning. Again, there have not been any updates about anyone responding or about any official statement. So my guess is this is still going to be, I guess, in that rumor territory, though, of course, they're not claiming it as a rumor, but as an exclusive story. So we'll have to wait and see as this turns out. But what are your thoughts about this? If it's true, if it's not true, are you excited or are you not? Are you kind of like me? We're like, meh. Whatever, this is not all that surprising. It's a studio trying to make as much money as it can and an actor trying to make as much money as they can because they're allowed to make money during a pandemic, all the while small businesses are shut down and free speech is limited. Which again is why I recommend everyone check out my alternate platforms over on Rumble and over on Minds to be saying screw you to the big tech oligarchs who are very much in bed with giant Hollywood, especially with people like Chris Evans. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below, and as always, if you like the video, smash the like button, hit the Rumble button, also hit the like button over on Minds, as I also upload my videos directly there, and so if you don't want to deal with any alternate platforms and follow me and watch my videos at the same time, you can do it all from Minds, because I do upload my videos directly there. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my January 2021 Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Albertus Magnus, Ali C83, Andrew Hoyle, animation commentator Brian P, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toone, Jonathan Carney, Laura Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his beautiful twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, On to June, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B. Thank you very much for being my Patreon members. And also a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star peeps: Stan 4, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. You guys are all freaking amazing. Thank you so very much for being supporters. If you want your name shouted out, please consider joining on Patreon, where for $1 a month, you can get your name shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream. For $5 a month, you get access to that, and also you get access to exclusive giveaways, where I give away 4Ks, Blu-rays, digital codes, etc. $10 a month will get you all that, plus plus also access to a special podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. Lots of fun. We do Q&As from that as well, so you get access to asking those Q&As, asking us any wide variety of questions. And for $25 a month, you get all of that stuff, plus you get to be featured once a month on the Chosen of Valhalla live stream. And also for that first month, you get a free t-shirt shipped anywhere throughout the world. So if you want to consider any of those things, please check out the links in the description below where you can find my Subscribestar and Patreon and also other ways to support the channel. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.